Hey guys, this is Marie and I'm back with another video, and this video is going to be Goldfish tank update plus tank tour. So let's get started. So in this video, I will be showing you and talking to you a little bit about the Goldfish tank and giving you guys a full tour of everything that is inside. So here we go. Now as you guys can see the title of this video is going to be all about the Goldfish tank and giving you guys a full tour of everything that is inside. Now, the last video that I have made was when I was setting up the Goldfish tank upgrade tank. And as you guys can see here, I have changed a lot since I made that video. And I'm going to go into detail and explain to you guys the reason why I went this way and not the other way. So in the beginning, when I set up this tank, as you guys saw in the video, I had the aquarium sand. And as you guys know, that I have never used aquarium sand ever in my entire life in any of my tanks. So this was all new to me and was my very first time ever using this sand. Now, as you guys saw in the video, when I was setting up the tank, I had rinsed out as much as I could of the sand to make sure it was nice and clean before I put it in the tank. So once I put it in the tank, I have filled the water up, and as the end of the video, you guys saw that the water was cloudy. And of course you have to usually wait about 7 to 10 days for it to finally clear up. Now after the 7th day, when I had set everything up, except the only thing that was inside of the tank was the sand. Nothing else was inside of the tank except the filter and then the heater. The decoration was not even in there yet, and also bubbles was not in there at all. So that was basically the only thing that was really in the tank was actually the sand. I waited almost 7 days for it to clear up, and it finally cleared up. So I figured I'll go ahead and fix the sand on the bottom part that was right here. It was kind of messed up, so I wanted to go ahead and fix it to make the sand more evenly. So when I put my hand inside of the tank to fix the sand, it completely got cloudy again. I mean, it was so cloudy it looked like I was just starting over and just had put the water inside of the tank. So now I had to wait another 7 days for it to clear. Once I waited those 7 days, it finally cleared up, and I decided to go ahead and put the decoration inside of the tank that you guys see right now. So I put the decoration in there and made sure everything was okay, and then it was fine. Then after that, when I started fixing up the sand again, it made it cloudy inside of the tank again. So I don't know what was going on. I had asked questions from one of the ladies that on YouTube that I've always talked to and always got suggestions about what's going on with different stuff, and she explained to me that she have never seen this kind of sand and she doesn't really know much about it and everything like that. So she said to see if it gives a little bit more time to see what happens. So I gave it a little bit more time. It would clear up to the point where you see it right now. But every time I would touch the sand, it would get cloudy again. And I didn't understand why it was doing that. So then I decided not to go ahead and do the sand. I went on ahead and decided just to take all the sand out, clean the tank completely, and start over. I figured if I had put bubbles in there and he started sifting through the sand to the point where he would sift through, it would probably make the sand come up and make it water cloudy completely. So I just gave up and said, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this because I'm never going to be able to get the tank completely clear to a point where I can get him in there. I went back on PetSmart.com and read the reviews and saw a lot of reviews on this sand that everybody had a hard time at clearing up and stuff like that. It was completely cloudy. It took them forever for it to finally clear up. And they said they had to wash it completely so many times to the point where they just stuck it into the tank and let it do its own thing. To the point where I did the same exact thing and I was still having trouble with it. Even my filter was completely full of sand. The filter inside was completely full of sand. The round of the edges was completely like clumps of calcium sand on top. The filter was inside, it was completely full of sand. It was so crazy. I could never imagine seeing this inside of a tank. Even on top of the lid, you can see the calcium that was stuck on there. It completely made the tank and the lid completely white where I had to completely wash the whole thing. So I said, you know what, it's been almost a month and I gave it a chance and I couldn't deal with it anymore. I figured I'll go ahead and go back to what I was doing. So I decided to go back to gravel. And yes, before you guys comment down below, I know gravel is not good for goldfish because they sift through this stuff. But I have not really had any issues or problems with Bubbles in the past of sifting through his rocks. And I want to also explain to you guys a little bit about this gravel than what I had before in my tank when he was in the 10-gallon tank. So as you guys saw, I went on ahead and decided to just completely start over and go with rocks. So I completely shut down the tank, cleaned it inside and out, cleaned the filter. I had to clean the filter like 2 or 3 times to get all the sand and stain that the sand made on the filter and also on the lid. It was terrible. I could never had the experience before like this, especially the first time me ever using sand. This was a bad experience for me. I'm not sure if this was not the type of sand that I should have been using. Maybe there should have been another type of sand that I should have used. So if you guys recommend any kind of sand that I can get from PetSmart or Petco that would not do what it was doing to my tank, please let me know in the comments down below. Because down in the future, I really do want to use sand for Bubbles. But I have, for the very first time, actually using this sand and had this bad experience. I don't know if I would ever go back to sand unless I get a 100% saying this sand is going to be just fine. It would not cloud up the sand. If you went down and touched it, it would cloud it up and everything. So if I can get that 100% guaranteed that it would not do that, I would probably in the future try to use sand again. But it has to be a sand that I have never had anybody else had any issues with it. So as going forward, I went on ahead and picked these rocks up. These are river rocks, and I'll go into more detail about the rocks, but I decided to go ahead with rocks this time. And the rocks that I've gotten in the tank are a lot more bigger, and these are river rocks. These are not regular pebble rocks that I've had in his tank before. So when he do sift through the rocks, he will not be able to pick them up from his mouth and swallow it at all. And usually half the time he's usually around in the middle and the top more than he is on the bottom. And when he is on the bottom and he's trying to sift through the rocks or the river rocks, he's not going to be able to get one up. I made sure before I had purchased these rocks that they were big enough to the point where they would not fit in his mouth. So I will go into detail and show you guys a little bit closer what these rocks look like so you guys have more an idea of what they are. So now, as you guys can see, this is what his tank looks like. I'll go ahead and give you guys a full tank tour of everything that is in his tank. I tried to went really simple and easy for his tank because I wanted more room for him to swim around so he will be able to grow a little bit more better. I've heard in other comments that there might be a problem with him, that he might not be able to grow the full length that he should be. So hopefully this 20-gallon tall tank will help him, and for him not to have a lot of stuff in here, just one decoration and rocks will maybe make sure it would help him have more room to swim around and able to grow the way he's supposed to grow. So before I go ahead, let's go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about his tank. Now, as you guys can see, this is a 20-gallon high tank, and I got this at Petco when they were doing their $1 per gallon sale. So I got this tank for $20, and you only get the tank, you have to get everything else separately. So the next thing I got was this lid that's a LED light that comes with it. And I also got this at Petco. And as you guys can see right here, see, this is all from the sand. I still can't get this off. And when I do wash it off, it won't come off. So it's basically just stuck on there. So it's never going to come off. But I got this from also Petco too. This was separately. I can't remember how much this was. I want to say it was probably about $23, $25. It was very expensive for just a lid and a light. So this is what this looks like. This has a big opening up where I'm able to feed him any direction, or right here. And then you got the LED light that is actually able to come off. That looks just like this. So that is what the lid looks like. The next thing I got was his filter, and here's his filter. This is actually from Walmart, and I only spent $22 for this at Walmart, and this is good for a 10 to a 20 gallon tank. So here's what it looks like inside. So it's pretty simple, and it does really well. I absolutely love it, and it is still kind of stained from the sand being on there, from having the sand in there and everything, so it won't come off. I tried scrubbing it and everything with hot water, and it would not completely come off at all. But this is what the water filter looks like right here. All right, go ahead and move on. The next thing that is in his tank that's back there on the right side is his heater. And I've had this heater in his 10-gallon tank, so this is not new. This is something I've had in the past in his last tank, and I just put it in this tank. And this is actually from Walmart, so if you guys are looking for an awesome heater, these are at Walmart for, I think, between, you can get it from, I want to say $15 to $20. It depends on what size you need for your tanks. And I absolutely love it because it actually just plugs in, and then as you guys just see, when the water gets to a certain temperature and it gets kind of cold, the light will pop on. As you guys see right here, it's red, so that means the water temperature is getting kind of low, or it's not getting the right temperature that it should be. The light will just pop on all by itself, and when it's ready and good enough for the water, for the heater to come off, it will just turn off and be done with it. So I absolutely love this heater. It's the best heater that I have ever had, and I've always got all of my heaters at Walmart. The next thing that is inside of his tank is of course, his beautiful and absolutely gorgeous decoration, and I absolutely love this. I wanted something to focus more in the middle of his tank, and this was basically the very first thing that I found. I actually got this on petco.com and just ordered it the same time I ordered the tank, and just went in the store and picked it up. So I absolutely love this. I want to say this thing was about, it was expensive. It was almost, I think we're like $25 or something like that. It was a little bit, it was between like the 25 to 30 range. It was very expensive, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and I love it. And he loves it. He actually goes inside the little hole right here, and I'll show you a little closer what it looks like. So it's just basically like a little hole where he can actually hide out if he really wanted to. And then it has holes on each side right here. And then you got a hole there, and then you got a hole on this side. So you got plenty of holes to actually go through. The littlest one, I don't think he'll be able to fit in that one, but this one he usually goes into mainly, and sometimes he'll peek like inside right here, but he'll come right back out. But he mostly goes into this hole. I have actually seen him go inside and hang out and then come back out. So he absolutely loves this decoration. And like I said, I was trying to find something simple and easy that would go perfect inside of the tank, where I would be able to have a lot of extra stuff inside of the tank. So I went with this decoration, and I absolutely love it, and Bubbles loves it. So the very last thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is his substrate. And of course, this is River Rocks. So I'm going to get up close to show you guys exactly what the River Rocks look like. So these are like huge River Rocks. They're probably about medium to a large River Rocks. So I've never had any issues with him swallowing it. And I made sure that these were big enough for where if he tried to sift through a little bit, he would not get any of them in his mouth. So that is what all of the River Rocks look like. And then the last thing you guys probably just saw is I actually got some black mystery snails in here. I just got them over the weekend. And there's a couple right there hanging out. And I'm not, oh, there's actually one right there. See him right here? They absolutely love this thing. They actually go inside and hang out and stuff like that. So there's one right there, and there's two right there. And I'm not sure where the other ones are. Oh, there's another one right there. Right there. Yep. So I have a total of 5 in here right now. And eventually I'm only going to have 3. And then the other ones I'm going to put in my 5-gallon tanks. But I wanted to go ahead and put them in here to get them good and going inside of this tank before I put them in the 5-gallon tank. But Bubbles seems to not mind them. He really don't notice that they're actually in there. They're just usually doing their own thing and everything like that. So, but here's a close-up of Bubbles. He's absolutely so cute and adorable. And he is just loving his tank. He is just loving this 20-gallon high tank. He is all over this tank. He just loves having this much room to swim around and enjoy himself. And I'm very happy that he is able to have this upgrade and be able to swim around and have the room that he needs. So I'm very happy, and I'm so happy that he is happy to have a nice updated home. But that is pretty much everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below, and definitely don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more. Until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!